Hey, I guess that's gonna be my new intro. Okay, so today I thought I would make a video about mental health and essentially how to use Nick Miller's meta theory, which is this diagram, to deal with mental health issues. Um, Whether it's a psychopathology or just like, well, I guess it would always be a psychopathology, just not necessarily like a mental illness. Now what's the difference? Well, I mean, there's the saying, too much of a good thing, right? So that's kind of what I mean. Like, that would be, like, someone could be, um, oh, I know. Here's an example. Someone actually told me about this not too long ago. Because I wanted to do this foot bath thing. It's like iodizing. And anyway, it's pretty cool. And the girl or the woman who worked there told me she was talking about she was like a very empathetic person. I deduced a couple things about her. I asked her, I was like, because I could tell, well, just from reading her face, because I know a bit about behavior analysis and stuff. I was like pretty sure, well, and it's because the crow's feet is what I saw. So I asked her, I was like, "You're quite an extroverted person, right?" And she was like, "Yeah, I am." And she was like, "How'd you know?" And then I told her, I was like, "Wow, it's actually because I can tell you smile a lot, and the crow's feet likely means you're extroverted." And so, yeah, she's also highly suggestible. Anyway, but yeah, and so, um, but she was telling me how like, and this is not too surprising given that she works at a massage place. Um, well, they have massage, but they also have a red light therapy thing, which I did once, and oh, it was great. Like it was really cool. Like I get the hype, like if you know what I mean. Red light therapy, it was actually it felt really good. See, matter of fact, I want to book that again, the red light therapy. But before I want to take methylene blue. That's what I want to do, because then that would be just even better. But yeah, because I did that once, and it was like 30 minutes, and it was good. It was like it really felt like wow, like I felt better. I felt like I had more energy, and yeah, so I recommend that. And the foot detox thing, it also felt good. It felt like it was cleansing, and yeah, it was good. So anyway, great place. I recommend it. It's called Hands That Here. If you live near Taylor's, it's in Taylor's technically. Or wait, yeah, Taylor's. I think it technically is in. Or is it? It's near. Well, not Tigerville. I live near Tigerville. It's near Marietta, South Carolina, but it's still Taylor's. So yeah, Hands That Here. Great place. Been there. I don't know, 7 or 8 times I think at this point, and yeah, it's just every time I go there, it's like, oh, it's a great environment, great people, just yeah, really good. One time they kind of like there was a mess up on their part, and so basically I didn't have to pay for the thing that I went there for, and they gave me an extra free service, I'll say. Um, so yeah, like it was like a 30-minute massage. That was free, and then the day that I was there, and then yeah, actually that was I came there, or went there um for the foot detox thing. But then like the person who I'm talking about right now, who I'm about to explain, I swear I'm getting off topic, but I'm about to explain the thing. She wasn't there, which she like is almost always there. She's basically always there. So that was weird. And then they couldn't reach her, and so because she was the one who like set up the whole thing, she knew like how to set up the machine and all that, and so she kind of had to be there. So anyway, just ended up getting the 30-minute massage, which was really good. Um, And the next day and that was free. And then the next day I got the foot detox and it was free. And so I was like, wow. They said they're like, we try to make it so if we mess up, then you're glad that we messed up, which is kind of funny. But yeah, it's like, it's good. I mean, so anyway, I had to leave a positive review after that. So anyway, yeah, great place. Highly recommend it. Like I said in my positive review, like if you need a massage, because I have like neck problems, shoulder problems, lower back. Um, and I was like, if it's too expensive, then save up. I said because it's worth it, and it is. Like that's the thing for me is I always think about it and I think, man, I want to go back. Like I'll just think about it. And I'll be like, but it's so expensive. But then it's like, when I'm there, it's like, it's worth it. It is worth the money. It is worth it. It's just so good. So yeah, it's like, at least go once. Like, I mean, save up if you don't, if you, if you don't have the money. But yeah, if I ever become a millionaire, I'm gonna be going there probably like once a week. Like for real. Shoot, it's a great place. Anyway, but I was talking about that because I was talking about, yeah, this lady who works there. She was talking to me, and we were talking, and she was saying that she's an extremely empathetic person, which is not surprising. But she was saying so much so that because we were kind of talking about like psychology and stuff. She was saying that she will sometimes like literally experience symptoms that another person has like spoken to her about. And she literally told me about a time when someone was telling her that like I think they were saying like they had a sty near their eye, which I've had before, but actually this one is still not fully healed, which is crazy because it's been months, but it's basically gone. But yeah, she was saying someone said they had a sty, and I think they said that it was getting better though. But anyway, I think she was talking to this person on the phone, I think. Anyway, she said literally, I think she told me, I think she said that night she got a sty on the same eye. It was the left eye, I think. Or no, the right eye, I think it was. I don't know. But either one. Like it was like that night, like hours later. It's like that happened. And so it just goes to show like the whole mind over matter thing. It's like, yeah, I mean there's something to that. Really. Like your imagination is ridiculously powerful. Like your subconscious, I mean, it's insane. I mean, I made a whole video about the sheer complexity of the human psyche. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's truly absurd. But anyway, so for example, that's an example of like something where it's like, she's very empathetic and that's good, but like sometimes too much, like, to where she gets like physical symptoms. And like, that's, she told me, she was like, I would prefer if like that didn't happen, like naturally. who wants to, who wants that to happen? But yeah, so she was telling me that, and I talked about certain things. Like I told her, like I actually told her because I was like, okay, I can tell you're highly suggestible. And I told her, I was like, if you can find like an experienced hypnotist who you can like trust, and like they could maybe help you with that, and it probably wouldn't take long given that she's highly suggestible. So I think she said like she would look into it. I don't know if she has or not, but yeah, no, because like I mean the mind is extremely powerful, and so yeah, like honestly, that probably wouldn't even take that long to remedy. I bet an experienced hypnotist, I bet they could figure it. I bet you it would take like 3 sessions max, probably like 3 trances, probably maximum, in order to remedy that issue. Because she's already highly suggestible. I mean, so yeah, but so that's interesting. Anyway, I've said it before. I'll say it again. When it comes to, I think, any psychopathology, the potential importance and value of hypnosis cannot be overemphasized. I don't think it's possible to overstate how incredibly powerful it can be. But yeah, so but anyway, so that's like kind of an example of like I would call that a psychopathology, like being so empathetic that it's kind of out of control. It's where you develop physical symptoms. Whereas like that's not like a mental illness. Like she doesn't have a mental illness because that happens. But I would say it's like a psychopathology. Anyway, that's how I would, so that's why I brought up that example. Anyway, so, but as far as this meta theory, which I'll pull up now, you could apply it to a mental illness or a psychopathology. So anyway, now I was at Tigerville Cafe yesterday, and I just wrote some stuff here. I don't know how well you can see that, but I wrote some stuff on a piece of paper, and I'm just gonna basically read it. So yeah, this is kind of how to use the meta theory to organize your psyche, and sort through entropy, essentially, and sort through psychological entropy. Sort of identify what the entropy is, and yeah, sort through it essentially. So yeah, let's see. All right, so I'm just going to use depression as an example because it's a common thing. So if you look at now, I have the diagram here too. I just like abbreviated the terms on this piece of paper, but yeah. So all right, so this diagram is so incredible. Sometimes I cannot get over how amazing this is. Like Nick Miller. I don't know if he's watching this right now. Like, I think Nick Miller is capable of doing genius things, and I think what he did with this is genius. I think. Now again, there's no such thing as a genius. I don't think. Maybe there. I don't see how though. I don't think it. But you can do genius things, and there is such thing as a person being, essentially having the intellectuals and or creative ability to, like having the intelligence and creativity to be capable of doing genius things. And honestly, I think Nick is one of those people, because I think this is genius what he did here, because this is all the elements of what a thing could be. Like this is whenever you're trying to conceptualize anything from the human perspective, these are all the elements. Like what's missing here? Nothing's missing. This is it. Like even time. He's talked about time, trying to incorporate time, and I've thought about that too. But it actually, like, I kind of go back and forth on that. Maybe it would make sense to have time basically like up here. We've talked about that before, but I don't think so. And I'm trying to think, what was the reason that he talked about it one time, and it made a lot of sense to me. I was like, oh, that makes perfect sense. Why, So I don't know. That's the only thing you can maybe add is time, but I don't think I forget what reason he gave for why, but it was a really good reason. When I heard it, I was like, oh, that actually makes sense. But either way, like I would say, he said this, Nick has said this, and I agree. Like this is perfect the way it is. Like it's all the elements. Everything is here, packed in here, but it's all here. So I don't know. And I guess, well, hold on. Now I just realized, wait a minute. Maybe it would make sense to add time, because this is how to conceptualize anything from the human perspective. Well, no, because I don't know. I really think, I'm trying to remember, because he's talked about that before. Anyway, I remember agreeing with him and being like, nope, you're right. That's why it is perfect the way it is. But anyway, either way, it's an amazing tool. But yeah, so, and I do think, yeah, it makes more sense to not have time. I can't remember the exact reason, but I remember the reason. Yeah, is a good reason. Because I remember having that realization before when I was looking at it. I was like, oh, I see why he doesn't include time. Like it made sense to me. Anyway, now back to depression. Okay, so and the reason why this is kind of, you could say this is perfect the way it is because, well, it simply is. Like this is all the elements of what a thing could be. Or like, oh, all the elements one needs to conceptualize a thing from the human perspective. This is it. These are all the elements, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Or I guess 6 if you don't really include it's 8 terms. It's 8 terms. So anyway, let's talk about depression. So, okay, depression. How do we conceptualize it? Well, oftentimes when you're using this diagram, it makes sense to start at the origin of entropy, but you don't have to, right? And so I want to start at a thing, right? So depression is a thing, right? Obviously. Thing, is a kind of a vague word or a non-specific word, but it's a thing, right? Depression is a thing. So let's see here. Yeah, I guess the immediate question would be basically like, well, I guess, yeah, you would go first to here or one of these. So what's the rule consequentialism for depression and what is my schema? Like, let's say I have depression, which I don't. I've struggled with it, but I wouldn't say, I would not say I have depression. But let's say I do. Let's say I did. What's the rule consequentialism and schema? So like, what's the collective perspective? Sort of. I like that because it rhymes. But or the collective view, agreed upon view, essentially, of what, or like the collective agreed upon perspective of what depression is, or view. I guess view might be a better word. Anyway, um, what we've all decided essentially that depression is, and then what is my individual schema for, these two terms. What is my schema for depression? And are they the same? The collective, the real consequentialism and my schema? And if so, like, if they're not the same, why not? Are they the same, and then why or why not? That's basically, that's exactly what I wrote here. Like, so for example, what's the real consequence for depression? Okay, one answer to that is it's just a chemical imbalance. Yeah, it's just, it's genetic. It's totally genetic, and it's just a matter of chemicals being imbalanced. It's like, okay, that's one answer, right? Another one is the symptom essentially is of what depression is a chemical imbalance, but really there's a deeper underlying issue that results in depression, like results in someone being depressed, and that is more psychological as opposed to physiological, if that makes sense. It's more mental as opposed to physical, and so like that's the deeper reason why depression exists, or someone might be depressed. So that's probably, I would say that's a much more accurate real consequentialism. As far as in America, what's the real consequentialism, or the collective view essentially for depression? Good question. I mean, I haven't really spoken with psychologists about it, or just like random people. Hey, what do you think depression is? Like, to try to like aggregate all the responses and get an answer for like what, get an idea at least of the collective view on it. I haven't done that. But I mean, I would suspect, the real consequentialism for it is essentially that, I mean, it's a mental illness. Basically, I mean, it's kind of tough to define, but like it's a mental illness or disorder, maybe we'll say. Mental disorder characterized by low mood, which has no like direct cause. Like, it's not like, oh, I feel down because, my uncle died or whatever. It's just like you just feel down kind of chronically. That's one thing. Like, it lasts for a long time, right? And oftentimes depressed people sleep a lot more. What else? I mean, it's kind of that. I mean, if you were to paint an image, I guess, I don't know, it's kind of cliche maybe, or corny, but like, it's, like a dark cloud following you everywhere you go. You're seeing like those commercials. Oh my gosh. Like, depression, it's like, do you feel like life has lost its luster? Or like, that's more anhedonia, I would say. Well, I guess they can kind of go together. Yeah, I'm sure they can. But, that's basically kind of the real consequentialism for depression. Now, of course, the treatment, I mean, the way to fix it, you might say, or treat it, the way a lot of people do it which is bad, is with medication, which just treats the symptoms but not the cause. So don't do that. I mean, look at what Nick Miller has, or listen to what he said about anxiety meds, and like, he's taken a bunch of them, and he used to be severely depressed. He's I think he said he took like 13 of them roughly, or I think he said 12 or 13. It's around there. And he's like, he told me, he said on his channel, like, I'm never taking one of those ever again. Like, he's never taking another. Because essentially, I mean, what he told me, now I've never taken them, so, but is what he said, is essentially like, they just kind of numb you. They just kind of make you not feel things, like not feel emotions. Like, that's not good. Like, so yeah, it like kind of decreases depression, but like, it also just, it's like it really is like putting a Band-Aid over it. It's like, you're not going to get to the freaking, except the thing is, I guess with a Band-Aid being over a wound is, depending on the severity of the wound will just heal on its own. Whereas the depression is not just going to go away if you just take a med and, it just cures itself. It resolves itself all of a sudden, given enough time. Like, no. and you have to go to the origin of entropy. We'll talk about that in a moment. But yeah, so like anyway, I mean Chase Hughes calls it cause blindness, which is essentially that like, oh, we can just treat the symptoms, and that's the way to tackle these issues, especially mental health issues like depression and anxiety. And it's like, oh, we'll just treat the symptom. It's like cause blindness. Like like look at the cause, look at the origin of entropy, I would say, in this case. But yeah, so yeah, that's what Nick has talked about. That again is like, he told me, they kind of just make you just not feel anything. And he told him like they just really messed with his head. It's like, yeah, not surprising. I mean, they're especially because like a lot of these meds, like, they just, well, Michaela Peterson has talked about, well, you can go watch her video on most recent Jordan Peterson update video. But yeah, it's just not a good thing. Again, you really want to treat the cause, not the symptom. Now, yes, okay. Now, with that being said, there's a time and place for meds. Yes, some people are so so depressed. Like it's what Jordan Peterson talked about at one time, and he was like, if someone's dead, you can't help them, and it's true. And I laugh about it, but it's actually true. It's like if someone's so depressed that they want to kill themselves, and they might kill themselves, then yeah, like let's get you on some meds at least for a little while. But again, a temporary solution. Get them on the meds until they're not in that state anymore, and then you come up with a plan after after that. But yeah, so there's absolutely a place for it, a time and place for it. If someone's just struggling so much that yeah, they might actually need medication. But generally, like when it comes as far as a long-term solution, I think there's always a better option. I'll say that. Maybe there's some mental disorders where meds are the best, but I don't think so. The best long-term solution, but I don't think so. Even like schizophrenia, I think we just haven't figured out a better long-term solution. I think there is one. We just haven't figured it out. So I don't think, no matter what the psychopathology is, I don't think meds are always the best, or ever, I should say, ever the best long-term solution. Short term, yes, sometimes you need them, but long term, no. Because again, cause blindness. Like, and that's why people like Kitso, or Kit Wallace is her name, talk about how she keeps having to like switch up her meds and stuff, because she'll be like, they'll work for a while. She'll be taking her meds consistently and stuff. They'll work for a while. Then all of a sudden she'll like have these symptoms and stuff that she has to deal with. And it's like, yeah, it's going to keep happening because you're just treating the symptoms. Like, I'm sorry, Kit. I'm sorry. I know you struggle with schizoaffective disorder, but like, that's what's going to happen. You just keep putting Band-Aids over the wound. Like, it's going to keep bleeding. You keep slapping more Band-Aids on it. Oh, take off that Band-Aid. Stop taking that med. Take other meds. Like, yeah, you're just treating the symptoms, not the cause. Like, so naturally that's going to happen. Like, what else? Like, what do you expect? It sucks, but we need to do more research and friggin', look, I think we need to consider for schizoaffective disorder specifically, it's difficult. But, well, I've made videos on it before. I may have figured it out. Or at least schizophrenia and, well, I think I figured it out. The delusional aspect and the psychotic aspect. I think I figured both of those out. At least, I mean, when I say figured it out, I mean, like, I don't know. Like, at least what would I say? If you watch that video and apply, like, think about what I said and sort of apply it to treating any psychotic disorder, like schizoaffective, schizophrenia, or just like someone in psychosis, I think then you would see real results fast. That's what I'm saying when I say I think I figured it out. That's what I mean. Like, I think you would see results. Now, I could be wrong, but I don't know. I made a couple videos on it, I think. One of them's like an hour and 20 minutes, I think, or an hour and 19 minutes. But anyway, so yeah, now, okay, back to depression. Let's see. So again, treat the cause, not the symptoms. You got to look at the origin of entropy. That's what you have to do. No, but seriously, I mean, and that's the thing. And Nick Miller's talked about this. Go watch his videos. Like, he's a great YouTuber. you gotta search Nick Miller meta theory. Otherwise, it shows you Nick Miller from some TV show, like some, I don't know. If you just search Nick Miller on YouTube, I mean, it's a common name after all. But yeah, so like, he's talked about how he beat his depression. Like, this man beat his depression, and he used to be like severely depressed. Like, yeah, he's made some videos about that, but he beat it. He beat his depression. And so, and he said basically, like, the way he did it was just kind of understanding his depression, like why he was depressed. And he basically said, like, he understood that it was basically like he had this sort of like fear of expressing himself, which I think was the main contributing factor. I don't know, go watch his video. I don't want to say something that's not accurate and not what he actually said, but yeah, like that was essentially the main thing, was like he had this fear of just expressing himself, and like this fear to speak. And anyway, so yeah, but he beat his depression by understanding, because he understood why he was depressed. And then he was like, oh, I should be, basically, I think it's something, again, go watch his video. I don't want to, but I think it was essentially like he figured out he really shouldn't be afraid. He should just still express himself. Like, screw it. Like, people might misunderstand him and stuff, but it's like, basically, he can't just live his life fearful of expressing himself and saying what he thinks. Yeah, I think that was a big part of it, at least. Anyway, I don't want to say that. Anyway, go watch this video, or I don't know what it's called, but he deleted a lot of his videos, but I'm sure he's talked about it. And well, I'm sure there's still a video on his channel where he talks about it. So anyway, yeah. So yeah, you got to find he found the origin of entropy for it, and so that's how he beat his depression. Like. So yeah, like, now he's not like perfectly healthy. I mean, physically, he's got this issue going on with his throat, which he's talked about as well. So he's not like perfectly healthy, or not mentally either, like perfectly, perfect mental health or anything. But he beat his depression, and yeah, so that's pretty remarkable as far as I'm concerned. So it's fantastic. So anyway, so again, the origin of entropy, let's see, hold on. Open this back up. So yeah, what's the origin of entropy? That's a question you might ask about if you're depressed. What's the why am I depressed? Maybe you don't know why you're depressed. It's okay. So I would say if you have no idea why you might be depressed, you might want to go to the void. Okay, so you might ask, what is the void when it comes to now, first of all, I guess you should watch Nick Miller's video. He has a few videos explaining just the meta theory, all the terms. So yeah, but the void, essentially, I'll explain it here. Go watch his video on it. He created it after all. But the void is that which we don't know that we don't know, or that which we can't possibly know. So both of those definitions work for the void. I mean, I would say just like, well, yeah, both of those work. It's what we don't know that we don't know, or what we can't know. Yeah, what we can't possibly know. So for depression, okay. So what's the void for depression? I've thought about this. Essentially, it's something. I mean, this is a decent example, I think, which is that it's like, no matter what, no matter who you are, like, you just don't remember every single thing that happened to you, like, as a kid, or I don't know. Like, your memory's not perfect. So it could be that there's something that happened to you when you were a child that is impacting your mental health today that you just don't remember, and you just don't know. And you can't possibly know because you can't remember, like, everything, I think that's a decent example of the void. So technically you don't need an example of the void, which Nick has talked about. But I think that's a decent example, though. So, it's just like your memory's not perfect. So, maybe something happened to you when you were 3 that was like traumatizing. That's impacting your psychological health today. But you just don't remember it because, who's going to remember that? And I guess some people have memories when they're like 3, but a lot of people don't. I don't. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of, well, that's an example of the void. It's tricky because like, yeah, the void is kind of tricky, but yeah. So that's something to think about. But then like if you think about that, so say you have depression, you go through this, you're like, oh well, yeah, it's like maybe you should see a therapist because maybe they can, or a hypnotist even. Maybe they can help you remember some of those things that happened to you when you were 3 or super young, maybe like 6 or something, And so, and then you could figure out, then you could find the origin of entropy for your depression, and then you wouldn't be depressed, So you see how this diagram is like remarkable? Like it's incredible. It's so good. I love it. It's so good. Um, so like, yeah, I mean, it's yeah, I love this thing, dude. This is like my favorite, like except for like the Bible and Jesus. Like, I think this is my favorite. Well, and probably this thing. I really like this. Although I'm still not sure if it should be tweaked or changed. I don't know. I do really like this though, because I came up with it. And also, I guess this too. This formula, but this is it's so good. I love it. But anyway, so yeah, what was I gonna say? Yeah. So anyway, so then you might be like, well, I should see it, or maybe just talk to somebody. You maybe just talk to somebody, like reach out to someone who will listen to you. Because again, like here's the thing, communication. Nick Miller said this too. It's so true. Well, first of all, basically, I mean, everything is communication. Reality is made up of words. That's another topic. I've made videos on that, so I'm not going to go into it deep here. But communication is how we essentially get rid of voids. Or you could say, if you think of the void as like one big thing, then it's how we make it smaller. But you could also say there's like multiple voids. There's kind of different ways to think about that. But it's like multiple voids and like clear communication, precise communication, I guess accurate communication helps get rid of voids. And so that's a good thing because then truth can happen and then healing can happen and shebang, shaboom, shaboom, we can live healthy. So anyway, that's good. We want to be healthy. Whether it's physically or psychologically, spiritually, emotionally. I was going to say, what else was I going to say? I was thinking about food. Sorry. I don't know what I was about to say. There's some word that I was thinking. Voraciously? No, that's not right. Something like that. Anyway, sorry, getting off topic. But we want to be healthy and live a meaningful life. Yes, not necessarily happy all the time because like you really want to be happy all the time, but like meaningful, right? We want to live a meaningful life where we're not working a job that crushes our freaking soul, like Chase Hughes talked about. It's like, okay, this is off topic again, but I'm gonna talk about it. He was talking about how, basically, the media and stuff, people in power use psychological techniques to try to divide us. And he was saying, like, the truth is, like, this is the truth, that the person across the aisle, like if you're at a grocery store, the person across the aisle who voted differently than you has more in common with you than the supposed representatives of the party that you support or are part of. It's like, that's true. It's like, what do you, like, your neighbor who voted differently than you both want basically the same stuff. You want your kids to be safe, if you have kids. You want a job that doesn't crush your soul. You want, gas that's not stupidly expensive. Like, you want most of the same stuff. Like, you want, you don't want to have to pay a stupid amount to go to college if or if you have kids, for your kids to go to college. Like, you really want basically you have more in common with that person, with your neighbor, than with some, billionaire who is the same in the same party as you, political party. It's true. It's like, that's the scary, it's in a way, it's the scary truth. It's like you have more in common with that person than you think. A lot more in common with your enemy than you think. So, anyway, first of all, it's like, even just the fact that you're both human should, no matter how crazy they look with their, pink hair. I'm sorry, I can't help it. and earrings and tattoos and whatnot. Hey, I got a couple tattoos, but I mean, two small ones. Anyway, it's like they're still basically you, really. I mean, yeah, everyone's different, personalities, incredibly diverse and all that. As well as physical, diversity too, But they're basically the same as you. They're really like we all come from the same source. That's why Jesus taught love, because we all come from the same source, man. Like God created all of us. We're all united by our Creator, which is God. That's it, man. That's the truth. Anyway, I got off topic again, but I felt that was worth saying. So yeah. But you know. So anyway, back to this. So okay. So I guess the one thing I haven't really talked about is beauty and meaning. So, did I write? I actually didn't write that down here, but I mean, I guess when it comes to depression, you could ask, like, what is there a source of meaning in my life? Because if there's not, you're probably gonna be depressed, or at least you're not gonna feel good. So yeah, like, what do I find meaningful? That's a question to ask if you're depressed. What do I find beautiful? What do I? If you're interested in aesthetics, like I definitely am. Do you like movies? Do you like paintings? Do you like, photography? Do you like sketching, comics? Like, what do you find beautiful? What do you find meaningful? Yeah, and how can you, I guess, maybe incorporate more of those things, whatever it is you find beautiful or meaningful, into your life, so that it would, well, your life would be richer essentially, and maybe you wouldn't be depressed, or at least maybe you wouldn't be as depressed. If you were able to sort of incorporate something that was meaningful to you into your life on a regular basis, like if you're able to make it a routine, like, I mean, and it could just be like writing. Writing's meaningful to you, getting your thoughts out. It's like, okay, do a bit of that every day. It's going to make your life better, Or movies, like I really like Psych. I think there's a decent amount of meaning in the show Psych. I know it's a silly show most of the time, but it can be serious, It's one reason I like it is there's some episodes that are basically like, they have a lot of elements of horror, which they do a pretty good job. Like, I mean, it's a good show. Psych is a good show. Great show, actually. Amazing show. But yeah. So like, maybe you find that show meaningful, and it's like, watch an episode a day maybe, or I mean, again, it's all about balance. It really is all about balance. Like, so true. It's all about that balance, and when you have everything in its proper place, then, well, basically you'll be healthy, and I would say there's at least a higher probability that you will, let's say, self-actualize. We'll say that. Or at least be like spiritually healthy, and probably physically healthy, and psychologically, mentally healthy too. So, all right, that's it. I think that's everything. So yeah, you can see how this meta theory can be tremendously useful for, well, conceptualizing anything. I mean, that's the thing, because like, if you're depressed, you might not even know why. You're like, I can't conceptualize. Like, I don't know why I'm depressed. But using this, kind of, as I basically just laid out in this video, like, you could kind of figure it out. Oh, that's why I'm depressed. Okay, then you work on it, and again, you might need to go to therapy to kind of, well, make that communication happen, to decrease the void, or to get rid of some of the voids, or whatever, as many as possible. Knowing that there's always stuff that you just don't know that you don't know, and there's always stuff that we can't possibly know. You can't possibly know. But you can decrease it, and you can work through entropy, and that's good, and that'll lead to healing, and maybe like psychological resolution, if that makes sense. I mean, resolution as in like resolving. Is that the right word? Psychological I don't know, but essentially, like, psychopathology is resolving. Communication's a big part of that, and again, there's this idea that I've talked about this before, but that the exchange of truth is curative. That's true. I mean, all evidence supports it. I mean, for example, with phobias, the clinical evidence all points to basically the statement that voluntary exposure to that which freezes and terrifies you in measured doses is curative. That statement's true. Like, the clinical evidence supports that. It's clearly the case. Like, we know that that's true. And so that's what you do. And why, though? But why is that curative? Well, because eventually your body and your mind learn that, oh, like, this is actually not, well, here's the thing. You don't learn that the fear is trivial. You learn to be brave. Jordan Peterson has talked about this a lot too. That's actually what you learn. You learn to be brave. You learn that you're capable of withstanding the fear and overcoming it, actually. And you learn that there's a lot more to you than you thought. That's actually what people learn. People have phobias. And so, yeah, that's what you learn. You're like, wow, there's more to me than I thought. You don't learn that the fear, oh, it's a trivial fear, you shouldn't be afraid. No, you learn that, okay, there's more to me than I thought. And that is true, you know? And that's why it's curative. Because that is the case. There's more to you than you thought, than you think. And with that, I'll end the video right there. All right. Thanks for watching. Take care, y'all. God bless. And I'll see you in the next one.